A group of lions is called a pride. A group of crows? That's a murder. And a bunch of flamingos? That's a flamboyance. Sounds made up, right? But these unusual names for animal groups called collective nouns are very real, and many of them are surprisingly poetic, bizarre, or downright savage. And today, we're unpacking where they come from, why they matter, and which ones will leave you wondering who came up with them in the first place. Let's start with the basics. Some names are straightforward. A herd of cattle, a pack of wolves, a flock of birds. These are the ones you've probably heard a million times. But when we get into the more obscure corners of the animal kingdom, things start getting weird in the best way. For instance, a group of owls is called a parliament, possibly because of their wise appearance and the way they seem to discuss things when perched together. A group of jellyfish is called a smack, and honestly, if you've ever seen them pulsating in water, that one actually fits. Then there's a crash of rhinos, a bloat of hippos, and a tower of giraffes. That last one? It's because of their long necks, obviously, but it's still hilariously accurate. Now, some of these names date back to the 15th century when English aristocrats and hunters used elaborate language to sound refined and knowledgeable. Back then, it wasn't just about describing groups, it was about showing off vocabulary. That's why we have things like a murder of crows, which may come from old folklore linking crows to death and bad omens. Or a skulk of foxes, referring to how foxes sneak and slink in the wild. Some of the terms are meant to be funny or exaggerated, like a business of ferrets or a dazzle of zebras, because, apparently, a moving herd of striped animals does look like a bit of a light show. Others are just straight up dramatic. A group of tigers? That's an ambush. A group of vultures circling in the sky? That's called a kettle, but when they're feeding together on the ground, it becomes a wake. These small changes in context shift the whole mood of the name. And that's the fascinating part, these words don't just describe numbers, they paint pictures. They add personality, emotion, even storytelling to the way we talk about animals. A group of apes becomes a shrewdness. A bunch of ravens turns into an unkindness. A group of flamingos isn't just pretty, it's a flamboyance. Because of course it is. While many of these terms are old and not always used in scientific circles, they've stuck around because they add color and creativity to language. They make biology feel like poetry, and they also remind us that the way we talk about animals says just as much about us as it does about them. Whether it's a gaggle of geese on land or a skein of them in the air, or a leap of leopards, these names turn ordinary observations into something memorable. That's the genius hidden in the language of the wild.